I'm trying to. I'm okay. I'm on the.
So much talk about investors. Is there a chance of a major derivative lawsuit for those two special words that Renegade mentioned?
Investor fraud. I look. I need to be careful with how I answer this one because of my station in life professionally. But I will say that I feel confident enough at this point that I think a lot of public average Joe investors out there in 2024, they need to start going after this DEI stuff with a vengeance. This
they're going to lose all their money.
That exactly, Rhino. I think this has been perpetrated as a fraud on investors, and I think, screw it. I think a lot of Wall Street, not all of it. I'm going to make that clear. I know, not all of it, but I think there are a number of people on Wall Street that have been, let's say, at the very least, unwittingly complicit in it. I think it's a shame because, and I'm sure we'll get into this more heavily in a bit, but the issue with, like Endymion was pointing out, as we've all been talking about all week, the issue with DEI and wokeism, it's not just about the nature of the game itself. It's not just about, for example, having Yasuke is the lead character in AC Shadows. It's not about forcing in basically a nobody historical figure and elevating this individual to the level of quote-unquote legendary samurai, which he was clearly not ever.
No.
That's one side of DEI. Would people out there need to understand where the real poison of this is inside the corporate structure where they write the scripts and they forced games and television shows and movies to include this. It's not about the fact that the gameplay, like in Star Wars Outlaws, is flawed. That in and of itself, at the developmental level, exhibits the DEI. It's the people they hire inside the game studios, inside the movie studios, inside the television studios that frankly are completely incompetent to do the jobs they're hired to do.
Yeah,
and
that's why I don't believe that if Kathleen Kennedy was to be fired, anything would change because it's been infiltrated.
I'm glad the chat is roasting. I'm glad the chat is roasting Tom for hanging out in the chat and not being on the stream, to which he has a link to.
I have a question though, and this is the one thing that like frustrates me about this situation. If you want to go after someone for fraud, I think you have to prove that they know that there's like some knowing of the individuals engaged in that fraud. And we know that it's a problem. We can point to all these different examples. But like when we saw Marvel going downhill after Endgame, we could all point to that direction because they went so heavy into the DI shit. But their excuse was, oh, it's superhero fatigue. People are just done with superhero. That's the only reason why.
Right.
And it's
we're way past that now. We're way past that.
I
such
wonder,
a bullshit thing.
Are we at that point now where we've seen like failure after failure after failure after failure? Like, could somebody just decide, hey, I'm going to get a lawyer, I'm going to fucking sue, and point to this mountain of fucking evidence? Or do you think it's just in the legal world with you still run into that hill of you're never going to be able to prove that they know what they're doing is fraud?
I wish Ron Coleman was here. He'd be able to elucidate this far better than I can for obvious reasons. I'm a financial expert. He's a legal expert. But I can tell you from my 20 years in the financial world, you can sue and you can create a class action for damn near anything. You can, I mean, look, we see lawsuits filed against major companies class action wise all the time. I mean, it's routine. And most of the time,
the fans need to get together and sue these studios. The fans just band together, and we go into a courtroom with like showing the evidence. See, there's no travel time in the.
I agree. The fans, I love it. The fans did more, but I think the fans are doing a good job at derailing these things as they're coming out.
Well, like exactly, that's where the power is, Crow. That's the power. I've got a video that I did this. I did a member stream last night, and it was myself, Jonas J. Campbell, my amazing, talented, super sharp editor, one of the guys that runs that Park Place, friends of ours, and Dred Roberts was on with me, and we talked about. We had a video out this morning on Agatha talking about. We broke down the numbers and how bad it is with all the comparisons, and it's atrocious. But the other conversation we had was about Ubisoft and an article that a lot of people have missed. Well, everybody's missed, I think, because they don't look when they look at news about Ubisoft. A lot of gamers out there in gaming channels, they look at articles and YouTube videos by other gamers and gaming sites. I read the financial trades because that's what I've done for 20 years. And when you've got noted and noteworthy, very well-known Wall Street financial analysts of the gaming sector literally using the term, and I never thought I'd see this, using the term because he got so angry that incels, quote unquote, got a rare victory with Ubisoft. Video in the morning, kids. This is my point, is that they're losing their shit out there. So when you talk about the Wall Street side of things, you can sue for anything, okay? The question is, what is the merit of it? Where is it going to go? Are you trying to get a quick settlement, and just get a $1.50 check for everybody that signs on to the class and the lawyers walk away with $3 million? Or are you trying to can you actually go somewhere? I think we are now with, and a lot of us, Tom, out there in the chat, who's still bitching, get your ass in here, Tom, if you don't want to bitch anymore. But Tom knows this. Is that, kind of the marker for everybody, I think we'd all agree, was like Ghostbusters 2016. Right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's where it started. We are now, can y'all believe this? We are now 8 years removed from that shithole. It is 2024. We are 8 years removed from 2016, from Ghostbusters 2016. We have a very definitive track record of how woke make broke, right? Yeah. We can see it everywhere. We can see it in television. We can see it in film. We can see it in gaming. And I think, and I have seen in the last couple of weeks, I've seen more articles, and I've kind of been shocked. And the thing I referred to earlier about a certain famous Wall Street analyst out there, with the whole incel comment, actually used the term incel to define it, and he even said a coordinated effort by the far right. I'm not kidding. Regarding Ubisoft, I'm not shitting you, because this guy had his junk buried so far up Ubisoft's butt. I mean, back earlier this year when Ubisoft was $22 a share, he was still recommending it as a buy to clients. He is a managing director for a over $3 billion investment firm with 10,000 clients in Los Angeles. So he's covering his ass because he looks like a dumb shit right now. So he is losing his mind. And again, he's in Los Angeles, so you can imagine what his social and political persuasion is.
I'm going to go visit him.
So like,
hold on. I got to get these two super chats because I've been waiting. Well, I guess he says the name is pronounced Tony, so Tony for 50.
That's hilarious.
As my user is pronounced Tony. I've been watching YellowFlash for maybe 2 years now. Loved every second of it. Also, I straight up called Ubisoft's slow demise after Skull and Bones. Love you guys. Thank you. Yeah, Skull and Bones was in development for a long time too. Delayed and polished several times. Yeah, big investment.
That was the start of it this year, and we can talk about.
I can tell you with confidence that Skull and Bones is projected budget was somewhere between $600 to $850 million.
No.
Wait. Stop. And say that again?
Yeah, Skull. So in my video, I'll explain it more, but one of the things that I was told was that Skull and Bones had a budget of around 600 to 850 million dollars over the course
I believe
of 10
that.
years.
Somebody's
Think
gotta be
about how
stealing
long it's
money,
been in
like,
development.
holy fuck.
Yeah,
They
and the person I was
spent a
talking
lot
to,
of money trying to get that game going.
Yeah, the
Holy
person I was
shit,
talking
that's
to
2
said that they-
acolytes. They
Yeah,
could
yeah,
have paid
they
2
saw-
seasons of the acolyte for that.
they saw so many different versions of the game that it was actually insane. They said that every time they were called in to look at Ubisoft stuff, like, Skull and Bones would kind of pass them, and they would see stuff about it, and it was always like a new game every time, pretty much. So every time they were, I guess, beta testing Skull and Bones, they were pretty much, in a sense, like making a new game every single time, and every time it wasn't working out, so then you have to go back to basics. So yeah, 10 years, about 600 to 850 million dollars. That's what I was told.
How much was the budget on Concord? Because that was 8 years, right?
400 million, according to
400.
Colin Moriarty.
That's
And that
not
was
the
eight- that
original.
And
It got added over time to that
Yeah,
because
okay.
they
Yeah.
bought the studio too, and that's not even included in that 400 million.
Well, so, like,
exactly. Yeah.
with
We're
Conquer,
talking $500 million. At least $500 million for
Man, that's
Concord
just
when all said and
insane.
done.
Put it this way: there is not a single game that Sony has out right now that costed as much as Concord. But
No.
if you guys remember what Colin said during his thing, he said that there are games in development at Sony right now that are costing them more than $400 million right now. We don't know what it is. I don't know. Probably
we have
Last of
any
Us Part
idea?
3, if I had to guess.
like
But
the crazy
Do
thing
we
about
have-
Last
Conquer,
Last of Us Part 3 probably has a massive budget.
oh yeah, because like that, those games are all about the fidelity and the graphics and like,
Yeah.
the technical
Do
showcases.
we have any
so-
idea of the budget on Assassin's Creed?
AC Shadows?
I
Yeah.
wasn't told that, but
The floor has to be 250. The floor has to be quarter bill.